Good morning, everybody. Ace of Trades here again today, Thursday, February 12th. Trading a 2000 tick chart for ES with a 21 EMA. The Bible says, the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 27 and 28, "And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment, so Christ once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation." So we can see that reincarnation is a lie. We only get one life to live, and we have to rely on what Christ did for us. Else we're relying on our own good works at the judgment time. So today, got in here late. It's already almost 10 o'clock. Overnight high here, obviously. Overnight low there. We have obvious overnight highs and lows. And then we pushed up through, battled around a little bit, falling back down. One clear leg down, back to the EMA. Nothing good here, just a couple stacked bars. Then we push down, and some people will try to take that as a second attempt down for this on two attempts. I don't like it because this move here is already made one leg, two legs to a new low, and you can see that almost got stopped. It did eventually work, but not really interested in whether a trade works or not. I'm interested in whether it's a good setup, because there's a lot of bad trades that'll work, but eventually bad trades will uh, cause you to have bad habits, and most of the time bad trades don't work, or they don't work well enough for us to be profitable. So I'm looking for good trades, and good trades will lose, though some people who teach this method pretend that they don't. They do lose, but most of the time they are winners, and that is how we uh, stay profitable. So now we almost have two legs down. I'm thinking here that prices are going to try to move down. 10, I'm not sure. I don't think there's anything at 10 o'clock. There was no news on the horizon today that we need to worry about. And maybe there's some lighter news that's causing a little bit of volatility there right now. But currently, I'm expecting prices to try to work back down here to these overnight lows, because right now the overnight range seems pretty clear. But pay attention also to this measured move. So I'd be looking for if I'm looking for any trades, I'd be looking for right now, price to come down here, find some support, and give me a good rejection. Other than that, I'm not really looking. Like, if this comes back here, I'm not really looking for shorts, because this move is played out and you're almost in a measured move. So prices won't always come back down to the retest the lows. So you have to just stay within your rules. So, we are largely in a range, but this move down has kind of played out. Now, if we would start to form something bigger here, then maybe you can draw a wider channel. But for me, going short right now, just not something I'm looking at. So I'll check back in a little while. All right, quick update, everybody. We were talking about prices trying to push down here to the lows. But I said, not really interested in shorts, because we have made these two legs down. And you can see that we pushed up here, pushed back down. And I still thought, maybe we're going to the lows. And then we made this higher low, pushed up super strong. This bar is like almost 9 points, which is odd for the ATR. And then you get this lower high. See, when you get bars like this, it looks very tempting to try to short this, because it looks like price wants to run down there. But because this is already played out and now you're pushing back up, I'm not really sure yet if this is a resistance level or not. Um, so this could be, or run the risk of getting trapped there. You can see I didn't have that line drawn yet, but once we got that bar, then I just kind of drew this as something, not that I'm looking to take a trade off to go long, but something I'm aware of not to short into, because of this making higher lows now. Um, because you can see that, you're not really making on the way down lower, it's even, but lower high. You get a couple bars back, low, or I'm sorry, lower low. There's a higher low, lower low, lower low. Now you've got a higher. Now, okay, now we push down here and we weren't able to get out of that. We weren't able to push back down into these lows. And we pumped up pretty hard there on 2 bars. This bar is like 6 points. This bar is 7. So when sellers are trying to push down, the buyers are pushing up very strongly. And then some people, may get sucked in on this one thinking, oh, this lower high, okay, we're going back down. But you have to be aware that this line is this trend. I'll just call it, I'm not going to call it a trend yet, but call it a level of support is building on higher lows. And what happens there is if you would take that, you know, um, pushed up, stopped you out. So you just have to be aware of these levels and understand the price action. Once you get 2 legs down like this, um, you know, you're just very cautious about, you may just want to watch the price action for a while. You're looking for something to establish. You're either looking for a range to get established or you're looking for new direction to get established. You're waiting for maybe price to come down here to these lows. It's not really a time to do anything. Um, so we'll just see what happens. This price action, look, this is all these bars are all kind of inside this this level here. So it's looking like price wants to kind of push up here now off this level. But we'll see. Sometimes it tries for a while and peters out and it'll fall back down. You just have to wait for the price to show us what's going to happen. So that's fitting okay right now. Let's see what happens. If this pushes up, makes a higher high, and we get something clean down to this level, we'll think about maybe how, depending on how it looks, we'll think about maybe an entry off of, this trend line, because we're continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. Now, if we just kind of push up here and fail down, we have to be aware that this might be some sort of range in here. Okay, we did kind of poke up through. Um, so we have to be careful there. We're not tricking ourselves into thinking we're seeing a trend, and really it's just a range that's um, had a couple pokes through. But we'll see here. You just have to wait for things to play out. So that's all I got for right now. I'll be back again when I see something else. All right, everybody, just want to do a quick update here. So when we left off, our price action kind of looked like this. Um, so this ended up not holding at all. We just fell right out the bottom. And so once we got this huge leg down, then I extended my measured move that I'm looking at from here to here, where the lows are for this, and then we come back up here, and I paste it to where the highs are for the correction before we fall down through. And so we did hit the measured move. Um, Again, have to be careful initially here about looking for shorts with uh, 2 reasons: 2 legs down and falling out of the overnight range. You can expect that prices may try to uh, fade back up into the range. Um, Too dangerous though to look for longs yet because there's still heavy pressure here. We can't get through this level here right now. So what you'd be looking for is you'd be looking for prices to push up through here. It's kind of an iffy area because if prices push up in here, you're concerned about taking a long because of this low. Prices may decide to turn this former support into resistance. I mean, if we scroll over here, if we look over to the right yesterday, there's a strong chance that prices are gonna try to go up here sometimes soon. I'd be very surprised if we continue dumping down because as you look over here, I know this might be difficult to see because my screen is not, uh, but you can see this is our overnight low that we pasted. You can see how much support there was there from yesterday. So I'm trying to be mindful of uh, looking at making the price bars big enough to see because I'm trading on a high resolution monitor and I realize that may look tiny on you're trying to look at it on a smaller screen or on your phone or something. So I'll try to be more mindful about making the price bars bigger on my screen so that you can see what's going on. But anyway, you can tell that there is a lot of support over here, or there was a lot. So I'm thinking that price is going to try to push up here at test at some point. Now it's really struggling right now, but I would think my guess would be here shortly that price is going to try to make some attempt. I'm not saying it's going to make it, but I think it's going to try to make some attempt here to push back up into this level. Um, but you want to make sure what I was talking about earlier is if you tried to at this point, if this was going to keep pushing up, you have to be careful about taking a long because this could turn into resistance and knock you back down. So what you'd really be looking for here to take along is be looking for a strong move back up into the range and then maybe some correction down here. Um, so you want to see price defeat this uh, authoritatively and get a correction before you'd want to go long. At least in my opinion, that's what I'd be looking for. This is really struggling here right now, so we'll just keep an eye on it. If we start just continuing to dump down, then maybe we'd be looking for some sort of bigger channel. Um, get rid of that thing. It doesn't look like there's anything here at the moment. If I drew that, and let's see if I would drag this down here. If that was a channel, you can see we're already overshooting it. Um, so maybe there will be something shows up from some other swing point. But right now, I'm not really looking at anything. Um, just waiting to see what price is going to do here. It seems like it's really weak right now, really wants to push down. But we'll just have, again, you just follow the price action. And there was, in this whole thing down, there was really nothing to take. Um, let's just talk about one second also about higher lows. So you can see that here there is right? You can see there, let's make this big enough. Just trying to hide the price action. So you can see there's a higher low. When I'm talking about a higher low, I'd also want to see not only the low be higher, but I also want to see usually the close be higher. I don't want to see this close within this price action here. I'd want to see this close higher um, to take a higher low. But in this context, I wouldn't because it's right into this overnight low and you just have this downward pressure that just started. So maybe this little leg would break and make a new low on you. Um, so which this you can see how this does quickly fail down here. And then really the break kind of comes here. You just kind of get some sideways action. It can't even correct really because it's so weak. So let's just we'll just follow the price action, see what happens here. Okay, guys, just a quick update here. So we can see that we have definitely now pushed down very into a very strong downtrend. It's very bearish right now. So if you could find some structure that looks good to trade off of, then a couple legs back to the structure or maybe even to the EMA would be a good place for me to take a short. Um, it's not really, it's kind of just falling. Price is not really um, obeying any kind of structure. You have this bigger one you can see. We could also look at it like this off this swing. Um, so you could have it like this. Maybe that one's better. Although now, after we've come off this side here, now we're not making it back to the bottom. But it's still so weak that if you got two legs, it's not even giving you two good legs back. As soon as it came and get close to the EMA, it's just pushing down. It's just falling. So um, at some point, um, it will probably give some sort of correction, but whether it prints in a way that's helpful, that remains to be seen. But so this is what I'm following right now. Shorts are on the table. Definitely don't want to be thinking long at all. So that's where I'm at right now. All right, everybody, let's talk about where we are. I forgot to mark the chart, so I'm not exactly sure. I'll just put this on here so I remember this time. I'm not exactly sure where we are, somewhere in the midst of this downtrend, um, and waiting for a correction. And I thought I had some other smaller channels drawn on here. I think I had one like here, and I was waiting for like two legs of correction, and it just never gave it to you. It just kept pulling down. So I'm thinking that this is probably on a bigger picture. You can't see it on this chart that I'm trading, the 2000 tick, but on a bigger picture, let's flip over to 4000. Um, maybe there was a break here and then two legs down to a new low. It tried to potentially reverse here. There's no way in the world with 75 with a 100-point down move that I'm thinking about getting into a long anywhere in here. This whole thing in a bigger picture could just be, um, the move down, and then this is like a bigger correction. Um, but anyway, we were looking for something here. And then, we got this leg up, and then we got a second leg up, and let me show you here. So, big trend down. We got this leg up here, and then we got a second leg up. And, what people, again, they'll be tempted to do is try to draw something on here somehow and create some sort of uptrend. Um, and maybe there was something forming, but this is so strong down. This is a very, very weak correction. So this is not reversing. This is just a weak correction. And so what some people, now I have an inside bar here, so this isn't a signal to me anyway, but what some people would be tempted to do, and they just created a bad habit and got bailed out and thought they got a good trade here, but you've got two legs up um, here. So if this continues to go higher, I'm always going to wait for, when I get two clear legs, I'm always going to wait for this to confirm. I'm not going to take a trade off here thinking I'm taking a confirmation. It has to confirm for me and keep going. So it didn't, I mean, it went up and you probably got some points out of it, but then look, it's just flipping back around. So again, I'm still looking short and just trying to find a good spot to get in. So I'll be back with another update later. All right, everybody, let's kind of just go over what's happened here the last hour and a half or so. All right, so we had a phony uptrend drawn here and saying, this is not a good idea. Be aware of this. And then what kind of happened is we came down here. We're expecting that this would make a new low. Bounces here right at the new low. And so at that point, since I had two similar areas of bounce to similar areas of a rejection here. I just threw a range up here, so we could see if that might be something that developed. Uh, Coming off the low, we had two legs up. It couldn't get all the way back up here to the highs before we fell back down through. Bounced again off this support level, and then we had two legs back up near the highs. I don't see anything here in particular that I care for. Um, yeah, this is like way too high up here to go long right there. Um, this to me all looks like one leg up. So, maybe you could bounce off here and this would continue to go higher. So not really interested in like trying to short here with all this, static here at this point. Um, then something interesting here is we come down in a very neat trend. We break out, and we have to be careful that when we break out of ranges that we're going to try to fade. Um, so you get this one leg up, and then every time this is trying to sell down in an attempt to make a new low, you see these wicks, you're getting buying coming in on all these bars, right? So it's not really closing that much further. So then when we start pushing up again, we have to draw a trend line off here. Some people, if I take this off here, now some people who just look for pattern to attempts, they may have taken a short here and gotten burned. But if we draw our trend line here, we can see that's clearly blocked. So we don't want to take that. And then this side, we get this bar up. So have a little bit of room here to the other side of this trend line, but because prices may be trying to fade back up into this range, we don't want to get trapped here on a couple ticks and then it just keeps going. So that's really not, it is two legs up there, but it's not even a real nice bar to think about shorting. We do push down here, and then we get this fight between the bulls and the bears at this level here where it's bears are still trying to push it up. Bulls are trying to push it down. You get this lower high here off this, but it's still so much within all this price action here. It's not like it closes substantially lower, giving you confidence that it's ready to go. So, I just didn't want to enter that. It does end up going. You can see how it kind of hesitates on this bar, and that was my concern. Is it's not really even that big of a bar. It's not really outside of all this little static here. So my thought was this could easily just, you know, go down a little bit, trap in an order, pop back up. This may even go sideways here for a little while in some, sideways bars that could pop up and down. So it doesn't really seem like a safe lower high to enter. It does ultimately end up pushing down to a low. Uh, it's low for a close, but not low to the tick, although you do have like a double bottom. So you may get prices now actually trying to fade back up now that this trend has played out. Although when you get breakouts, you're not necessarily going to get the trend to play out. But this could be actually the real attempt now to push back into the range since you do have a structure that has broken and retested the extreme. Um, so we'll just have to wait and see here. If we start pushing up strongly back into this range, we can defeat this and push up real nice and strong in here, and then we get a couple legs back. Um, as we're looking for like a second leg up to the other side, maybe, and maybe we can look for a long here. But I'm not really interested even right here with this having failed to push up before, and now you're fighting this former support now potentially turn resistance at this moment. So just got to sit tight and wait and see what happens. Maybe this, we don't know what's going to happen. We just have a couple possibilities. This could be actually reversing back up into the range, or this attempt may fail also because it's been, super bearish today. So, the bears have dominated the market today. We can see I know you probably can't see that very well, but um, as far as like the ticks and the bars and stuff, but we can see all this downward pressure, and we tried a couple times to get through this level and failed, and now we pushed out, and now uh, we're the bulls are trying to push it back up here again. So we'll see. Maybe this little area here will become resistance, and we'll start pushing down even further. We'll just have to wait and see what transpires. So I'll just move my little marker over here, and I'll catch up with you in a little while. Okay, everybody, real quick update here. Not going to be on long. So we had this break, and then I think we were in this area watching to see if prices would push back up in, because that's what you're expecting when you get a break out of range, especially after this structure had pushed down and made a new low, and then it pushes down one more time, so you get one leg down, two legs down to make a new low, and then we get this nice tight uptrend. This is what I was talking about. If we get something that pushes up real nice, nice uptrend here, maybe we can get a couple of legs back to get a trade. Just gives us one leg back. Can't really enter on that because you never know if it's gonna give you another leg, because prices like to move in twos, just like they did here. So that just happens sometimes. So just unfortunately nothing to take there. I even looked on I was watching the 1000 tick chart as well, because sometimes on a smaller time frame you'll get the two legs back, but it also is just one leg and then a bounce. So we have this break. It's already pushed to a new high. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Maybe we get up in this area here where there's been resistance, and maybe this pushes up far away from the EMA quickly and gives us a lower high. Maybe we could take that back with lots of room to the EMA. We'll just have to see what happens here. So I'm not gonna sit on here. This video is already pushing half an hour, and I still have about 2 hours of market time to go through yet. So we'll just come back again when I have something else to talk about. All right, everybody. When we had left off last time, we were kind of in this area, and you can see the bars have refreshed and printed differently. So, you know, even if you were thinking about getting out on that one leg, it closes way too high. And then we're waiting for just seeing what prices do as they print, and they push down and they push back up. And I then measured these two legs, um, and we get this concerned about, you don't just want to take a trade because prices hit a measured move and then they print a bar, it may be in the direction you're looking to take a trade. You're looking for more confirmation, and we'd be looking for a higher low. The issue here is that we've now allowed, because the way prices have moved up, they didn't move up in a straight line like this right to the measured move, but they pushed up here and then they pulled down and they bounced off the EMA. So now price has caught up. The EMA, or I should say, the EMA is kind of catching up to price here. So by the time we get a lower high to print, we're right back into the EMA here, and we have to be concerned about maybe there's a potential trend line here. You just never know. You don't want to you don't want the EMA to bounce you out of that trade. And we can see, depending on what we're going for, we do get it, but prices do bounce there temporarily and bounce out of that, bounce higher than where our stop would be on that trade. So, that didn't have to happen down here. That could have happened right here on this bar. Could have bounced up here off the EMA. Just took a minute to work down. Yeah, for some reason prices flushed down there a second, form that bar. I mean, you are expecting now with two legs up into this resistance area that we've been having now for probably many hours. You're expecting prices to try to go the other way, and they are doing that. And then, we just got, there's this, we pushed down with the leg, another leg kind of pushed down. You're not really getting any nice structure to trade. People may want to take this as a second attempt, right around the EMA, but you have to be worried about, uh, where was I drawing that from? You have to be worried about maybe for some reason prices would be trying to, form a trend here. You don't know, um, but you just have to be aware of it. And I mean, depending on what you're going for, you would you have some room for some points there, but you don't know that it's going to bounce down here again, and it bounces higher again off that line. So, you could very well just get ticked in. It could just keep going up if it's going to turn into a trend. Um, so the fact that we've we're holding that there, I'm not really crazy about trying to take a trade there with just a tiny little gap to the trend line, even though we are potentially expecting prices to go back down to the other side, which they appear to be doing now. Maybe we'll get something. So this ended up not being valid. The range ends up winning over, whatever potential trend we had there, but we're not getting any kind of nice structure like we had here. We're not getting any kind of nice structure to trade on the way down right now. Um, so I'm not sure. Maybe if we got another leg back here, since we are expecting to try to come down here, maybe we, take a short there. But that's all I got for right now. And probably the last update, since it's 3:15, probably be the close of the market for today. So I'll see you then. Alrighty, buddy. This is just gonna be to wrap it up today. It's about 8 till the close of the market, but I'm not gonna be taking any more trades today, and I want to get this wrapped up and load it up. So I did end up getting a trade here today, and I'll show that to you. I was just kind of dialed in. I wasn't really focused on trying to, get the get the screen recording going or anything. Unfortunately, I did not. I did not take a runner here, which I'll explain to you. It doesn't really matter because if I did, I'm honestly I'm taking the runner off probably at 4 points because I'm not expecting um, I'm not expecting this to happen. If we're in a different context, then maybe like if we're coming off like an overnight high and fading a huge range, like I know there's like lows down here that are support or something. Like let's say I took the trade up here, then maybe yeah I'm putting in for a runner because I'm expecting prices to come back down here. But realistically, I'm just expecting prices to retest these lows. Um, so especially with considering what happened last time we broke out, we got one leg, two legs, and as soon as we uh, made a new low here, we just bounced back. So the prudent thing to do if you are going to do a runner here is to just take your runner off at the lows. Else you might just get bounced out of it for a scratch or something. There's no way I'm thinking here we're going to run down 30 points. So, uh, that's just the reality of it. Somebody else might come on and tell you, oh, you just take your runner there and just, let your runner go. But realistically, you got to use your context too whenever you're deciding when to take a runner. Some people they try to take runners every single trade, and 90% of them get stopped out. And so, 90% of your trades, you're losing whatever you take it for. Is if you put your runner at break even after it goes so far, then you're losing, a point or two, whatever you go for on your trades, and you lose 90% of your runners. Well, you need one 18 pointer to make up for those runners that you lost the whole time. So anyway, what we had here was we were about this area, so we're not really getting anything good here. So we just kind of pushed down out of the range again, and I drew this trend line like this, and then we did end up getting two legs, not quite measured, good enough, rejecting the EMA. Not concerned about a short-term trend line or anything like that. It just doesn't look like that's going to do that. Um, Expecting at least to come back down here. So, got a trade there, and that's pretty much it for the day. So, a couple other areas we talked about. If something had set up better, then you could go ahead and look to enter if you had a better push up here, like that, and you had room with your lower high. Now this lower high, this would be a decent place to try for a runner. Eventually, you would have got taken out here by this, but that's not really. I'm not looking really to enter on that anyway. So, um, and then basically you have your two legs down here, and this is attempting to go the other way. But I'm done thinking about looking for trades with 5 minutes to go here. So that will pretty much do it after we rush down there for to about 11:30. We just kind of went sideways, breaking out a couple times. Um, and so, that'll pretty much do it. Here, I'll show you. So here's I just did my trades for the week. Got two trades so far this week. Uh, Net of 1150, and you're down here, and you can go look at the chart if you want to see where those were at. So yeah, the one trade we were out in the second, and the other one, 14 seconds. So um, that's about all I got for today. So I will stop the video there and see you hopefully tomorrow.